Welcome to Closer to Venus. I'm Johnny Burke, and today's guest is Jonathan Robinson. He is a certified hypnotherapist and Reiki practitioner. He specializes in past life regression hypnotherapy and spiritual hypnotherapy, which can help uncover the root cause of fears, anxieties, and recurring emotional patterns. In this episode, we'll discuss his past life regression stories and client experiences that felt like true soul adventures. Jonathan, welcome to the program.
Hello. Thank you.
How did you, first of all, get interested in past life regression? How did that happen?
I was wondering the big picture questions in life. What is our purpose? Why are we here? Where do we come from? And there has to be more than just the 3D world. And a lot of the answers from religion and other things weren't good enough for me. So I started reading a bunch of books, spiritual books, Dolores Cannon, Michael Newton's books, and I resonated with it. I was so excited, but I'm also a skeptic. So I said, if they can do that, why can't I do that? So I was certified in Reiki and hypnotherapy, and lo and behold, one after another, all my clients go into their past lives, whether they know about it or not, all different cultures and places around the world. And one thing is true, they all can tap into that frequency of their past life memories.
The Michael Newton books are pretty mind-blowing, to say the very least, with the life in between lives. Did you venture into Reiki first, or did hypnotherapy come first with you?
Yeah, I think I did Reiki first, so I got a session done on me, and she was telling me things about my energy and body. I didn't tell her or didn't tell anyone, and afterward I felt more like myself. I felt balanced. My throat chakra was changed, and I became a believer because she didn't even put her hands on me. So then after that, I got certified. And now whenever I think about Reiki, even now I feel my hands, the tingly feeling. It's like a magnetic field around them. And I send that to my clients a lot too.
Does the Reiki complement the hypnotherapy, especially if they go into their past lives, or not necessarily?
Yeah. Distance Reiki works as good as in person, a lot of people say, and I think it complements and helps. Not a lot of people line up at your door for Reiki yet, but I think everyone should learn it, just like everyone should learn breath work and meditation and Reiki. It feels like magic almost, but it's scientifically proven to help people heal faster and all that.
And Reiki is actually being used in hospitals these days, isn't it?
Yeah, in surgery and hospitals, and it's more well known too, but the thing is, not a lot of people come to me for that, so I just include it in the sessions.
When you started as a hypnotherapist, do you remember the first experience when one of your clients went into a past life?
Oh, yeah. Even my first sessions, I was so blown away by it working. I was like, now I just know and expect it to work because I have such a high success rate. But at first, I was like, I don't know, is this going to work? What's going to happen? But some of my first sessions were amazing just because of the spiritual people that I did it with. And one of them went back to the past life before they were even in this physical form. They wanted to know where they came from, I think was her intention. And she was this energy being on a planet like Krypton, and she could teleport and move. She didn't have a body. She was just an energy like orb. She said it was very boring, though. She said it was very neutral. There's no highs or lows or emotions. It's very boring. And so I said, all right, well, go to an exciting day. So she went to a day where the light came down from the sky, and it made her an offer. 4 of them got offered to incarnate as a physical being. And she accepted, as well as 4 others. And they shipped them off to other star system or planets. And she got attuned to Earth's frequency, because you need to be attuned to the Schumann resonance or the frequency of Earth, and then she began to incarnate. When she first started, though, it was challenging because Earth school is very tough and she wasn't used to it. But after a while, after several dozen or hundreds of lives, she's better now, so it takes a while.
So maybe we shouldn't be aspiring to be energy beings right away. So that goes way back into time, or did that particular life go into a space where time is not as we know it here on Earth?
Yeah, time is all happening at once, they say in the spirit world. Is it past lives or is it parallel lives? Is it, all happening at once? They all kind of intersect. So it's a hard concept for us humans to comprehend because we see a story, beginning, middle, and end, and baby, adult, and grandpa. So we just call it past lives for convenience.
Any client experiences on other planets where maybe they were from the Pleiades or Sirius or something like that?
Yep. I've had several past lives go off planet. Now, most people aren't ready for that. So my clients, it depends how ready they are for that, because it could be jarring, or the higher self will only show you what you're ready to see and will most benefit you. So typically we go to earthbound past lives. But for some of my clients, maybe people listening can relate. If you don't feel like you're from here, you feel alone, or you don't fit in, those were the clients that ended up going to off-planet past lives where there was red skies and two suns and humanoid, reptilian, different beings with blue skin all lived in harmony together. And the cool thing is, when I went to a spiritual day was them around a fire chanting and connecting with source, like meditation. So even on other planets, we have to connect with that source, have to feel the bliss and have that life force coming through us.
So that definitely does not sound boring. That sounds pretty interesting, I think.
Oh yeah, cars that fly, holograms, technology that probably we used to have during Atlantis and Egyptian, the rise, but now it's coming back, hopefully.
That's what I keep hearing. Speaking of Atlantis, Egypt, and possibly even Lemuria, any client experiences, or for that matter, any experiences of your own from that era?
Yeah, Atlantis and Lemuria are pretty far back. So typically we remember the most recent past lives. Now, children oftentimes who have night terrors or tell their parents, remember when we were Japanese and I was the dad, like a 4-year-old. Jim Tucker has 2 books. Lots of cases of children's past lives where you can look up the family and the address, and like a detective, they can find it. And how is a child getting this information? So people believe the children more than my clients who are adults. So children remember their most recent past lives. Typically, my clients go to the most recent ones. Those are the ones most affecting us now. So it's rare that we will go all the way back to Lemuria or Egypt or Atlantis. However, many sessions have gone to Egypt because that was more recent. And Egypt was lush. It was not a desert. It was a forest. It was a jungle. There was water everywhere. There was gold and crystals on the pyramids. And they used magic. They used Reiki. They used all kinds of things. And it was much, much different. They would put Reiki energy into crystals, wrap it in leaves, and give it to people to help heal them. The priestesses would, and the priests. So Egypt was very magical place.
It sounds like there is definitely a connection between Egypt and, I guess, a later version of Atlantis. Did you or your clients ever see evidence of that?
Yeah. So I had one client who was in Atlantis, and she was like a premonition person who would have dreams of the future. And she went to an important day where she saw that Atlantis was going to flood or something bad was going to happen, she said. And I said, well, what do you do? She says, I try to warn everyone, but they're not listening. They're not paying attention. I said, what do you do? Well, I take my family on boats and we leave. Many, many other people leave, but a lot of people chose to stay. And they went to Egypt and Stonehenge and other parts of the world, and they brought their crystals with them to Egypt and stuff. But a lot of people just stayed, and when it crashed, it fell, and some people escaped, but not everyone.
And a lot of them did migrate to Egypt, I imagine. At least that's what I'm told.
Yes, a lot of them. So my client did, actually. So she went there and helped Egypt rise, and then it was the next Mecca, beautiful, and they brought their crystals there and technology and helped them.
When you're in a session with a client, and they go back to a certain life, wherever it is, whether it's 15th century England or an ancient civilization, are you actually able to share the experience, or are you more like the messenger?
A lot of people do get visions with me, and they're in the scene. So I walk them through the most meaningful moments. If there's any traumatic situations, we handle that together. We heal from it. We release it, whatever's holding them back. Yeah, they're in the scene, so it's very meaningful. Unlike maybe an Akashic Records reading where a psychic would be telling you, here's what happened. my clients are viewing them. They're both good, but this way they're more connected.
Have you done Akashic Records readings in the past, or do you just stick to the hypnotherapy and the Reiki?
I don't do them. I don't facilitate them, but I have gotten them on me, and I found them a hit or miss sometimes. Some of them have been really amazing. Others, when I didn't connect too much.
Have you had any past life experiences of your own?
Yes. Yeah. So I was in India, the country, as a woman. So we can be male or female, rich and poor. We change bodies and cultures to learn different lessons. And we've all been male and female, believe it or not. So yeah, most of the time we come in with both energies, though. And so as a Indian woman, I was there, and my father was like not a king, but maybe more wealthy, owned a lot of businesses, and I was a woman, and my brother in that lifetime was my younger sister in this lifetime. And so that explained that relationship dynamic I have with my sister. It's butting heads a little bit, but we're good now and stuff. She was the older brother and a man back then, and she would get all the credit for things. And I think I fell off a roof or something, because whenever I think about going near a ledge, my heart starts beating, racing. And in this life, I almost fell off a ladder a few times. So either I fell off a horse and got trampled, or fell off a roof. So fears, phobias, and birthmarks that are unexplained can come from our past life traumas, if it's an emotional situation with a traumatic scene.
Now, your sister in this life, is she aware that you two shared a past life?
She's open and supportive, but she's not that into this type of stuff.
You've never had that discussion, or you have, and she just says, yeah, sure, Jonathan, whatever you say. How did that go?
The latter. I joke around, and she agrees, but it's kind of casual.
How common is it with your clients to have a session and then recognize someone from a past life?
Yeah, I would say 50% of the time. I don't always ask that question, but if they want to know more about their soul group or soul family, that's a group of about 20. It could be more, depends on how many people you interact with, but there's a soul or spirit family that we choose to incarnate with each other to teach each other lessons. We switch roles and places. Maybe one life you're the man in the relationship, then the next one they're the woman, father, daughter, scenarios, cousins, uncles. So they know, I'm like, does this person remind you of anyone? They're like, oh yeah, it reminds me of this person. Not the way they look, but the essence of them, the energy. They'll know.
What you're talking about is when we plan our lives before we incarnate. I take it that your clients have experienced that in-between life state where they visit with their soul group or their soul family, and they discuss who's going to inhabit what body and in what role. Is that true?
Yeah. In fact, I just did a session with a psychic. I do sessions with a lot of spiritual people, including psychics, because even I do a few sessions a year that I'm the client, because we can't always facilitate our own healing if there's emotions and situations that occur. So a lot of psychics are really good at this because they're really in it. They could get really clear visions. And yeah, he wanted to go to in between lives. Typically, I bring him to a past life first. Then after the death scene, we go up to the spirit world. It's not a destination, it's more of a realm. So yeah, he went up, his whole body was vibrating at a high frequency, felt very connected. There was golden stairs into a temple. And in the temple, there was a big statue, 10 feet tall. And the statue started moving, and the statue was his spirit guide. I've had that happen before when someone else went to the goddess Athena's temple. She was a statue, but then she started moving. So the statue started moving and was giving him information and sending him messages and love, showing him what's possible with his current life, what the future holds, giving him reassurance. He said cycles of 9 all throughout his life. He started boxing when he was 9. He did something else when he was 18. Another chapter unfolded when he was 27. So these numbers, cycles, are prevalent, and he's aware of that now.
That sounds very similar to a near-death experience, only we don't have to crack up a car or clinically die to actually get there. Do you see the parallels? Or has anybody ever had an NDE and then reported a similar experience in one of your sessions?
Yeah, and NDEs validate past lives because similar situations happen after the death scene. We float above the body, we're met with by our spirit guide or loved one, And then from there, we go to an attuning center to be healed from earth. Trauma, we do a life review, audit of what we did good and bad. There's no council. There is no hell. At least I haven't found it yet. And no purgatory where we're tortured forever. Sorry, church. That was actually one of his questions, because as a psychic, he is demonized by the Bible, really Bible people. It's unfortunate because they say he's talking to demons. But in a past life, he was a pastor of a church who was amazing. And actually, pastors of churches used to be psychics that would get messages from the divine, and that's how they would give their sermons. They would channel that. Now, what happened, I think this is what happened, people that weren't psychics or tapped in became pastors. They were jealous of the people that could channel, and they demonized it because they said, you're talking to demons, and it's not true.
Very interesting. It's the first time I've heard that. In your exploration of past lives, did you ever get a sense that we as humans had abilities thousands of years ago? Let's say in Atlantis, where telepathy was normal, being psychic was normal.
Yeah, that's a question I often ask, is when they're doing Reiki and sound healing and levitating even in their meditations, I ask, can we do that today? Can we still do that? And they always say, yes, you can, but you just didn't learn how. If you teach a kid Reiki or meditation, or they're even teaching kids remote viewing with the telepathy tapes with the autistic nonverbal children, it's just normal for them. There's no limitations. It's just we didn't learn it as a young age, so we didn't work that muscle out in our mind.
Okay, so how long ago was this? 300 years ago, 400 years ago, when the pastors were able to channel source to give sermons, but we got to a point in our civilization where we either don't know how to do it or we forgot how to do it. Which would it be?
The thing is, there always has been and there always is channelers, mediums, and psychics. It'd be weird if there wasn't, because they've always been around. I think people were more tapped in way back in Egypt, and it was more accepted. Now, you kind of have to be a special person to not be shut down by parents and society and hide your gifts. I believe as things get more popular, the church, organization, I love all religions, by the way, no knocking anything, but as something gets more popular, the wrong people start to take it over and they veer it in the wrong direction.
So if a pastor, for instance, is talking about demons, chances are he's not really connected with anything.
Yeah, it's fear-mongering, right? Anything that's fear is contraction. It should be abundance and love. That's expansion. So if they're telling you to fear something, I don't think that's right.
No, it isn't. It's not really connected to anything. Or is it? Could they be connected to a mischievous spirit, or could they be just plain jealous, like you said earlier?
Even the Lucifer angel, it was like the angel of mischief, and he would play tricks on people. Everything has a place. It's a challenge that we need to overcome. It served a purpose. It's not always, good or bad or right or wrong.
So when someone goes into the in-between life space, from a past life where they die, some people report seeing demons, some people report seeing Jesus. Could it be that simple that they just see what they want to see and it's manifested, or not necessarily?
I have a good answer for that. So the spirit beings will present themselves as what looks familiar to the person. So if they're actually Pleiadian or aliens from a different star system, they won't present themselves as their true form. They'll present themselves as something that's familiar so it doesn't freak us out. So that often happens when my clients are ready. They'll see the mantis beings, they'll see blue beings, humanoid beings. But if they're not ready, they'll present themselves as a familiar family member or something of that sort.
So being ready, meaning, let's say, if I go into a session and I see that being, that means I already have a memory of it and it's not going to freak me out and it's acceptable.
Yeah, they would present themselves as its true form because it knows you're ready for it. It'll only show you what you're ready to see. And that's common with these sessions. I don't guide the clients. I have them write down a list of questions that they want to get answered. And I will, guide if I need to. But the higher self is brilliant. It knows exactly what to show them. It won't show you anything you're not ready to see. It'll only show you what'll benefit you. And it has a magical way of answering all those intentions and showing you reflections of your current life challenges in your past life memories.
So the higher self, I believe, sometimes gets confused with a spirit guide, or are they the same thing? What's been your experience?
I believe that, yeah, they're different. Spirit guide is a different entity or being that's of white light. It's very loving and supportive and guiding, and it's assigned. Everyone is assigned a spirit guide. Our higher self is like a future version of us that's projecting its consciousness back into us to help guide us, and we can only take a fraction of that light or that energy right now in our dense physical form. And so our higher self is the full potential of the version of us in the future.
We're also starting to hear about future life progression.
Yes, it's just as easy as past life regression. Some people bounce there automatically. I don't try, but I did a session last week with that, and I had him go to a future life 2110. And the first thing he said is, oh, global warming doesn't kill us. Because that was, a fear-mongering thing. Cars that could fly, cities, anti-gravity cities. So if the weather's bad in Portland, you could go to Seattle or California. You could move it around. There's less pollution. There's holographic technology all over. We don't integrate with AI as far as in our body, so that's good.
Thank God. Enough of that already. Can we teleport?
I think they move so fast on the anti-gravity ships that weave through space-time that they don't need it because they could just already go so fast.
So you can go back and forth between LA and New York, and it's just like a bus ride almost.
Very, very, very quickly. Yeah, they have the technology now. We're hearing about all these UFO scientists that are being shut down, and I think it's because they have the technology, but it's about money. The oil and gas industry would go completely under, and what if someone uses it for a weapon? That's why they're not disclosing it yet.
Speaking of disclosure, with your experience of the past life sessions and those people that bring up galactic past lives and so forth, has that given you any insight into disclosure? When it's going to be, it's no longer a question that there are aliens among us.
Yeah, and if they wanted to wipe us out, they could have. I think they're friendly. I do regression to abductions, and typically it's friendly. They're checking on their own kind, monitoring them, giving them downloads and putting them back. Why else would they let us live or put us back? They have the technology to wipe us out. That was interesting because it was like a future version of them, or their higher self was the one abducting themselves and putting them back. So we are not allowed to interfere unless we ask. But yeah, I think they're already among us. They're just beyond the physical veil of sight. They're beyond that physical spectrum. And some of them look similar to us, and some people can see them. Other people can't. The ones that can, they will know if you can see them, and they will try to project telepathically, like to distract you so you won't notice them. So it's almost like they don't need a disguise. They just shift your mind towards something else without you noticing, because they're so advanced.
I've always been told that they've been here the whole time when some of us are waiting for perhaps a ship from Pleiades or Venus, for that matter, to come down with these beautiful Nordic-looking people that are 7 feet tall. And that might happen, but we're being told that there's going to be an event in the next year or two where they're going to make themselves very visible. Have you been told the same thing or not really?
I hope it's not a distraction or a fake alien invasion to unite us for war or something. I'm always open-minded to it. We're definitely not alone, and I think they're friendly. I think they're trying to help us.
Hopefully that's true. I would think, based on the stories or accounts, most of them are. I think it's a matter of raising our vibration to a certain point where the not-so-friendly ones can't stay here anymore, but that's probably a discussion for another day. In your experience, what do you think is the most important thing that you've learned so far?
Yeah. Oh, man. I learn every week, every day. That's why I love what I do. Every session's different. It's spontaneous. It's improv. I don't know if you're going to end up in a battlefield or another planet or desert or an ocean. And then we go from there. A lot of these sessions show me reflections of my own challenges in the sessions, because that's the way the universe works, bringing them the right people at the right time. I hope people can get from this work that to not fear death. It's not the end. We transition, we go on. And I think a lot of this could help with the disclosure too, is realizing that we do have past lives. We've been male and female, all different cultures, so we don't need to discriminate. If someone looks different, we accept people for who they are and their energy and essence and merit, not what their physical appearance is. And if we understand that, then the disclosure part, if I saw an alien, I probably wouldn't treat them any different than a person, because they deserve to be treated just as good. If I see a millionaire or a poor person, I treat them with kindness and love and respect. A lot of people will treat the millionaire nicer because they value, oh, this person might be able to help me with something or do something, and the poor person can't. And they'll change the way they treat people. Well, we should treat everyone the same with love and respect.
I can't disagree with that, but I definitely acknowledge that past lives and near-death experience survivors can tell us a lot about those big questions you mentioned before. Why are we here? What's the purpose? What really happens when we die? I think it's going to be a lot more popular in the future. I think it's going to get some momentum. You agree?
It's even growing now. A lot of my clients are like, I've been wanting to do this for years. I just can't find anyone in my area. And it's the beauty of online work is whether you're in person or online, your eyes are closed after the first minute. So it's right there. You have the safety and comfort of your own environment. And I record the audio, send you it after. So it's just as good. So I found a lot of root causes of fears and phobias, even birthmarks with no explanation, forever feelings, and just little flashbacks, a deja vu. If you feel called to it, try it out, read a few books, do a session or two, and it can be very great for spiritual growth.
Interesting stuff. So what else do we need to know, at least for tonight?
Reach out to me. I do free introductory calls, meet people from all over. I do one-on-one sessions, multiple sessions, whether that's for trauma in this life or past lives. Overcoming that with hypnosis is the easiest, efficient, most effective way to get past those blocks. I teach hypnotherapy, so I do a course, kind of like QHHT or a hypnosis course. So you learn hypnotherapy, past lives, trauma release, all that fun stuff. You'll be a confident, certified hypnotherapist by the end of it. I have an app coming out called Journeys into the Subconscious, which is a hypnotherapy app. Nothing else like it on the market. It is going to have past lives, daily sessions, really cool stuff on that. I'll let you guys know when it comes out. And I do this remotely from anywhere.
All right, good. So in the meantime, how can our listeners find you online?
Journeys into Past Lives. So Journeys into Past Lives, Instagram, YouTube, website, all of the socials.
You've been listening to Closer to Venus. I'm Johnny Burke. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, please consider subscribing. In the meantime, you can find more info at closertovenus.com. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.